যদি সবাই ফিরে যায়, ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা সবাই ফিরে যায়, যদি গহন পথে যাওয়ার কালে কেউ ফিরে না যায়, তবে পথের কাটা তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে, তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে। যদি আলো না ধরে, ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা আলো না ধরে, যদি ঝড় বাদলে আধার রাতে দুয়ার দেয় ঘরে, তবে বজ্রানলে আপন বুকের পাঁজর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা জলরে, আপন বুকের পাঁজর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা জলরে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে। একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো রে।
Hi guys, thanks a lot for joining the live stream. Today we have with us author, angel investor, entrepreneur, Mr. Aditya Pittie, sir. Hello sir, thanks a lot for coming on my podcast.
Good evening, NEERAJAN. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. Aditya Pittie, sir, has recently written this book, which is doing lots of rounds. I've seen countless people reviewing it. This is the book. The link for the book is given in the description box. Make sure you go ahead and book your copy. It's called Viksit Bharat India 2047. So first, sir, everyone's being talking about Viksit Bharat 2047 these days. We will, of course, ask a bit of how India might look like if we follow this path, the proposed path here. Firstly, what are the metrics to judge a country that it's Viksit enough or it's developed? Do you agree with all the metrics?
So yes and no, NEERAJAN. So just, for your viewers, I want to clarify that Viksit Bharat means a developed nation. Now, the Western viewpoint and the definition of a developed nation comes from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund (IMF), which says that if your per capita income is in excess of a certain level, then you're classified as a developed country. So this is today approximately $15,000, 15,000. Now, just to give you an idea and context, India today is at $3,000 per capita income. We are the fourth largest economy with, today a GDP size of about $4.3 trillion. But obviously, with our very large population, our per capita income is less. Now, when we talk, what I have tried to, unbundle and present a vision of Viksit Bharat, this has actually come from the vision of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. He has been talking about the Viksit Bharat vision. And I am a person from a corporate background, so I view it as a vision and mission statement for the country, just like corporates have. And what attracted me to this vision, NEERAJAN, is that unlike just this Western viewpoint, which is just solely based on a per capita income, this is a much more holistic vision where we are saying that along with obviously reaching this per capita income, there should be a minimum standard and quality of life for all citizens. They should have access to world-class infrastructure, education, health, etc. We should do this while protecting the environment in a sustainable manner. There should be a pride in our civilization. So this is a very all-encompassing, holistic vision, which is much more compelling and much more important than merely, how the Western countries look at a developed country.
Sir, when you say that world-class infrastructure for everyone in the country, of course, you'd agree that it will in the end not be equally world-class for everyone in the country, right?
No, NEERAJAN, this is exactly the point that I'm also, saying that it has to have some minimum standard and quality of life and access to these, facilities, whether it's infrastructure, health, education. And Honorable Prime Minister really believes that if one doesn't have access, even the poorest people in society, the most disadvantaged don't have access to this, our vision, our actually model of Viksit Bharat will remain incomplete. Maybe we will achieve that average, because after all, a per capita income is merely an average. I travel a lot. Today, in fact, in the developed countries like the US, income inequality and, has grown dramatically. They are the largest economy in the world, but the income disparity has grown dramatically. Many of the things there, if you see today, infrastructure, whether it's airports, railways, etc., are in fact not world class. So I think our vision is much more important, much more holistic, and in a sense aiming to be equitable. And fundamentally, this is, based on the theory of Antyodaya, which Honorable Prime Minister also talks about, which has come from Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji, and which a literal translation, as you know, means the upliftment or the rise of the last man. So I honestly believe that this is a great, moral imperative, and this is a great target to have. That while an average becomes high enough to be called a developed nation, we have to push hard to try and have this Antyodaya.
Sir, isn't that relative in the end? Because let's say in 2047, when everyone has had a significant upliftment, the poorest man in India will still have a life worse off than the richest man in India, and he will still complain, or politicians will complain surrounding him that, see, the growth was not inclusive enough. Even though in the end his life has been uplifted. Even today, the poorest person in the country probably lives a more comfortable life than Chandragupta Maurya or Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, because after all, he might end up having a fan in his home. Let's say he doesn't, he's a footpath dweller. Even then, he eats food that is healthier than what Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ever ate. So the lifestyles are going to improve anyway. But isn't income inequality, or the talk surrounding income inequality, always going to promote socialism and decrease the progress of the country?
No, these are, kind of complicated issues woven into each other.
Yeah, yeah.
All that the, the vision and mission is that we have to uplift the quality of life of everybody.
Yes.
In a democratic and capitalistic model, income disparity is bound to be there. It is there in every country, more or less. So, you
Yes.
can't get away from that. The idea is, I am a person who looks at data and looks at trends. Are we reducing the inequality gaps? And is there a minimum standard of life that we are, according every citizen? So that is important, that, you need to have some minimum standard of living and a dignity of living. The income disparity is bound to exist. There is no
Yes.
getting away from that.
Yeah.
But these, things are improving in India. In fact, it's getting worse in the developed Western countries. So this is a reality that exists, and all that the push is to ensure that minimum standard and dignity of life.
Hmm. So what about national security? What does a Viksit Bharat's national security look like? Especially in terms of Bangladesh, because it's slowly, pretty fast going down to hell right now.
Uh, Nirajanji, I won't comment too much on specific countries and our neighbors. But if you see, I have spoken about this in the book. I have written about it. In fact, the geopolitical climate today is very different from when I stopped writing the book.
Yeah.
The book goes
Yes.
into a long editorial process, etc.,
Hmm.
before it is published.
Yeah.
So I think the geopolitical climate was very different, really, even 6-8 months ago. It has
Yes.
changed dramatically. I think in general, all countries have become more inward focused.
Hmm.
That's what's happening today globally. We
Hmm.
have to ensure, that national security is paramount.
Hmm.
And I think even within that, at least in Bharat, things, recently you've been seeing in the news last few days, it is increasingly important, I think, from a strategic point of view, and what the leaders and is that you also have to become Atmanirbhar for
Hmm.
national security. In the
Hmm.
sense, you cannot now no longer depend on other countries for defense equipment,
Hmm.
etc. The way things are politically, geopolitically, we have to start now making in India, not only from a GDP and business point of view, but also all of this defense equipment.
Hmm.
So this is, I think, the change that's happening, and I think this is in general all good for Bharat, because
Hmm.
it has given us a further impetus to catalyze, make in India,
Hmm.
get self-reliant, get Atmanirbhar. So
Hmm.
I think some of these trends, will help us in the long run. And in fact,
Hmm.
I personally believe that this will help us accelerate our own Viksit Bharat plans.
Hmm. Sir, in the context of Atmanirbharata in the realm of national security, shouldn't therefore Indian citizens have very easy access to guns like in the USA? Because the one of the biggest problems in India is political violence and gundas from political party, especially in West Bengal. So shouldn't people have an easy access to self defense, because anytime gundas might show up in front of your house?
Personally, I am against, this having handguns, etc., for citizens.
Hmm.
We are seeing, the chaos this is creating even now in the US. It's
Hmm.
one of their fundamental rights to bear arms.
Hmm.
But you
Yeah.
see that, the data, again, Rajanji, I'm a person of data. If you
Yeah.
actually post our talk, also Google
Hmm.
or, fact check a lot of this,
Hmm.
the, kind of gun violence and
Hmm.
serious violence
Hmm.
in the US is dramatically higher than other countries that have
Yeah.
stringent gun laws.
Hmm.
So I, at a personal level, am a firm believer that we should not be having guns in the hands of citizens.
Hmm.
We have a very capable, adept armed forces, paramilitary forces, our
Hmm.
police departments,
Hmm.
and I largely would depend on them and not
Hmm.
arm the citizens at all.
Hmm. Sir, I have two follow-up questions. One is it that fair to compare the Indian police with our armed forces? Are they really that adept? And secondly, since you like data, you'll notice that gun ownership has not increased drastically in the US since the 1950s or 70s. And this law is there since, I think, 1791, the Second Amendment. But gun deaths have increased drastically only in the last 10-15 years, which might have something to do with their obsession with mental health drugs, which says that, oh, you are a little naughty in the class, take some ADHD medication and sit at home and then take those medications and play video games and become fat. And then one day you are so angry with your life that you take a gun to your school and blow everyone up. So, and thirdly, our criminals already have the guns. It's not like they are going to wait for the laws. So who do I defend myself? How do I defend myself? The police is not going to show up, not going to be in 24/7 paradar in front of my house. So what do we do?
Niranjanji, couple of things. I still stick to the fact that, we have to rely on our, police personnel and armed forces for sure.
Hmm.
And you cannot have a solution becoming a bigger problem, right? If you, by your theory, I mean, if we arm the citizens, then,
Hmm.
the kind of criminals, etc., will arm themselves even more. So I am not in favor. And again, I'm saying that, all data suggests that countries
Hmm.
that have stringent rules
Hmm.
against guns and other weapons are
Hmm.
much safer and have much less violent crime.
Hmm.
Coming to the US, it's difficult for me to comment why this has happened. But also, in countries like the US, there is, you can have, sorry, automatic gun ownership, automatic
Yeah.
weapons
Yeah.
owned by ordinary citizens.
Yeah.
So obviously, that is a recipe for further violence.
Hmm. Okay. And now we'll get to our favorite villain, judiciary. How do you see judiciary even getting reformed? Can that ever happen? Can the executive just say, now reform yourself?
Judicial reforms have been proposed earlier as well. I personally believe, We read about all this happening, the number of cases that are piled up in our judicial system, etc. Many people recently have also spoken about it. So my personal belief is that judicial reforms will happen at some time, and this will help streamline a lot of the gaps and issues that are being faced. I'm hopeful that this will help solve a lot of these things.
Sir, on reservations, how do you think a developed India should do reservations on just economics or even not on economics basis as well? Why not just prioritize merit?
It's a complicated question, Nirajanji, because a lot of things are happening at a state level as well. In general, I am less equipped to talk about reservation. I'll instead, talk about kind of things like direct benefit transfer, etc. Now, in our country, with large income disparity and the need to pull, the most disadvantaged population again to a scenario of self-sufficiency and standard of living, the government rightly, I think, is following a two-pronged strategy, which is top-down and bottom-up. In the bottom-up, with the DBT, direct benefit transfers, other social schemes, huge benefits have, accrued in the hands of the marginalized and disadvantaged. Dramatic improvement, in their standard of living, not standard, I would say, in the quality of life as well, where, many things, whether it's the toilets, gas connections, etc. If you're aware that nearly 250 million people were pulled out of multidimensional poverty, food grains are still being given to 80 crore people. So I think there is a need to do this in India, along with, opening up businesses, the capitalist model, which creates a trickle down effect. As jobs increase, income comes in the hands of the people, etc. In fact, in the recently, if you know the GST 2.0 reforms, that has been dramatic because it's a massive reduction in GST, which increases income in the hands of consumers and the citizens, which in turn is then spent in the economy. So it has a multiplier effect, giving a big boost. And I think a lot of the data coming in is showing how dramatically sales have increased for
Yeah.
businesses, retailers, etc. So I think these all multi-pronged approach is needed in our country, and we are seeing all the positive effects of all of these things working in parallel.
Sir, what exactly is the problem? Excuse me. What exactly is the problem with income disparity? Since even you admit that it will end, it will exist in some form or the other forever. So why not just stop talking about it because it's used as an excuse by socialists? What's the problem with income inequality or income disparity other than jealousy?
No, Nirajanji, it's a reality which is very important to track because you cannot. The goal is always to reduce income, inequality. This is tracked usually using a metric called the Gini coefficient.
Yeah.
That is from 0 to 1 that tracks the income inequality in countries. So I think it's very important to track it because obviously the goal always, the work has to be done for all citizens. And when income inequality reduces, this is a very good metric that good work is happening. So not only is it used within the country, etc., to track how we are doing, it's also a comparison between countries, to see how you're doing. I personally believe that this is very important. And the more the income as well as regional disparities go down, are good indicators of a more equitable kind of development and progress of the nation.
Is it ever possible that a rickshaw puller will earn as much as Adani, or will it, if we push it far enough, then Adani will end up earning the same as a rickshaw puller?
I mean, these are very, just hypotheticals, Nirajanji. I mean, there is no point in discussing this because there's no real,
So because every time this
I mean,
idea has been pushed in any country, they have ended up like West Bengal, Cuba, Venezuela, USSR. So why should we push it again?
oh, are you talking about like some kind of socialistic model where you will,
Yes.
you
I
know,
don't see the difference between the
the
desire to end inequality and socialism.
no, no, it's not that.
Okay.
Nobody is saying that inequality will end. All I'm saying is in the model of our governance, which is great, after all, it's democratic, etc. We have to always keep aiming to reduce income inequality. You cannot reach a situation where it's zero in a sense that there is none.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
then you would be in command socialistic economy, but
Hmm.
that is not practical. So all I'm trying to say is that as long as the Gini coefficient, the income inequality is reducing, that is
Hmm.
a good sign.
Hmm. Okay. So now we have some interesting questions about the judiciary from our audience members. I'll just take a bunch of them. You can pick anyone you like because they're kind of similar. Um, Abhay Agarwal is asking, what about making sure that families remain intact, especially in the context of the absurd civil laws we have? Boishalid is asking, what do you propose to do about unfair marriage laws and especially the completely corrupt legal system and judges around it that have formed a vulgar monetary system around it? Will any judge be found guilty in such a setup or be jailed for life ever? Will you end the collegiate system? These are the questions about judiciary.
Honestly, Nirajanji,
Hmm.
I appreciate the questions, but
Hmm.
I'm not the correct person to
Yes, you are not.
answer these questions. I'm not even equipped to answer these questions. I'll
What do you
stick
hope
to the
happens?
it is not that nothing is going to, there are no ideal utopian situations. What I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
that there is a need for some judicial reforms.
Hmm.
And I think the government is seized of this matter. And,
Hmm.
I think these will come in at the appropriate
Hmm.
time, and these should
Hmm.
help at least start resolving some of the issues related to judicial matters.
Hmm.
And I again am a very positive optimistic person in general. I
Hmm.
think it will happen, and things will improve.
Okay.
You suddenly don't go
Okay.
from 0 to 100 in in a shot, like a switch being put
Yeah.
on. I'm just seeing what
Yeah.
is the trend. So I feel
Hmm.
once reforms kick in and there are improvements, then we know
Hmm.
we are on a good trajectory of improvement. And once you
Hmm.
keep that going,
Hmm.
then the improvements will compound, and one
Hmm.
will start seeing its impact in day-to-day life.
Hmm. Sir, tell us about the improvements in the healthcare sector of India under this government. And I think everyone pretty much agrees that their significant improvement has happened. And even personally, I think that it's kind of the best of the best of all worlds. It's not completely dependent on insurance. It's not completely dependent on the private companies or completely on the government. I think we have a nice healthy mix. So, how do you see the improvement up till now, and what more do you think will improve in the coming years in the healthcare sector?
So, Niranjanji, I think this has been one of the big success stories of the government.
Hmm.
As you know, the Ayushman Bharat scheme with the Ayushman Bharat cards, look at the scale of this. I think the last number I recall is something like 55 crore Ayushman Bharat cards that have been distributed, which is giving you, an insurance and kind of a social security cover from illnesses and hospitalization. So the
Hmm.
scale has been dramatic. Along with
Hmm.
that, I think a lot of work has gone in capacity building of, building out hospitals, etc. They are even working with the, at the medical college level, that how do you increase the capacity and scale of doctors coming out of the medical education system. So I
Hmm.
think, like you said rightly, there's a lot of work that has happened at many levels, and we are seeing that this has benefited a lot of the citizens. So
Hmm.
this is a good thing. Luckily we're a country with good medical talent,
Hmm.
even nursing talent. and relatively, you have availability, I think, of healthcare facilities at various price points,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
from the private to the public, just like you said. Obviously,
Hmm.
in a country like ours, everything there is a need to keep increasing scale,
Hmm.
increasing the quantity of things. But I think we are on the right trajectory, and
Hmm.
things are scaling up. And obviously,
Hmm.
Ayushman Bharat, I'm repeating, has been a massive game changer.
Hmm.
Here I would also like to point out that also the government's emphasis on going back to our ancient medical knowledge, whether it's with Ayurveda, etc.,
Yeah.
is also very important, because we had all this holistic healthcare knowledge within our civilizational history.
Hmm.
And it's very important to also, along with Western medicine, reacquaint ourselves with this. And I think
Hmm.
Honorable Prime Minister has been stressing this without, people realizing, whether it's
Hmm.
the emphasis on yoga, on yoga,
Hmm.
whether it's the emphasis on of times. If you realize, we were talking about millets, right?
Yeah.
That is called Shri Anna. So these are
Hmm.
all grains that our kind of DNA is suited to digest. Very healthy. It can be grown locally, easily, without pesticides, without
Hmm.
fertilizers. So what I'm trying to say is that the vision, as far as health goes, has also been holistic. It's not only
Hmm.
about providing healthcare when you are afflicted with some disease or problem. It is also
Yeah.
to go back and see that how do you kind of enhance your health from day one, whether it's through
Hmm.
exercise, yoga, right
Hmm.
eating, etc. So I think
Hmm.
there are many steps that have been taken, which have been critical for healthcare.
Hmm. Sir, what do you think of the decreasing fertility rate of Indians? How do we increase it? How do we increase the rates?
There are people who will counter that you don't need to, because we're already now become the most populous country in the world.
Hmm.
So it again depends on perspective and how you're looking at it.
Hmm.
In general, trends have been seen that, as countries develop and
Hmm.
get more prosperous, there is somehow a reduction in, fertility rates, the number of kids people in general want to have. So,
Hmm.
it's not that I track this too much or have too much
Hmm.
knowledge about this, but in
Hmm.
general, what's happening in India is nothing alarming. This is normally,
Hmm.
seen elsewhere as well.
Hmm. Sir, I'm sure you know that Israel doesn't follow that route, right? Israel's TFR is pretty good, and they have not lost TFR just because they got developed.
So, Niraj, like I said, I'm not too aware or I haven't tracked this too much.
Hmm.
But, I think is just my general kind of perception and information around this is
Hmm.
probably coming more from the larger countries. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
difficult to extrapolate models from countries that are very
Hmm.
small.
Yes.
It's very difficult to extrapolate from
Yes.
that
Yes.
to large countries like ours or others.
Yeah. Yeah. It is true. So we have one very interesting question here. Do we have a measure or sort of an index for Viksit Bharat, something that we can monitor our progress on? Some report that the government can publish on their progress on each measure. Do we have something like
Uh,
that?
you, this is a great question. I myself would love it if, we develop one comprehensive metric. However, I would like to
Hmm.
inform, your viewer, whoever's asked this question, that
Hmm.
there is actually a government dashboard.
Hmm.
Post this session, Nirajanji, I'll post it to you, and you can hopefully send it to the person who's asked the question. But it's really interesting that as citizens we should be aware that government of India across its
Hmm.
ministries and schemes has a
Hmm.
comprehensive dashboard which is
Hmm.
being updated live, which is telling you how all these schemes are performing, what is the quantity number, all the updated data, which is
Hmm.
really excellent to see. And then you can
Hmm.
drill down as per your subject or ministry of interest. So this is something that is, I think, wonderful, and will give confidence to most of the citizens. In fact, I always like to say on this point again that I stopped writing the book many months ago,
Yeah.
before it got published,
Yeah.
and as a writer, I want to tell people that although my book is all about data, I wanted
Hmm.
to tell a story with data, not with my opinion or your opinion, right?
Hmm.
My reference citation section in the book is 40 pages long. So it's a
Yeah.
story that's told with data because people can fact check it, cross check
Hmm.
all this themselves. But I can
Yeah.
tell you something, that the speed and scale with which the government is working, I think all of
Hmm.
my data is already outdated. I am
Hmm. Right.
confident that any reader, if he fact checks me today, his number will be larger than my number. So that's a
Hmm.
good sign, as all of us as citizens of Bharat, that
Hmm.
things are moving so fast that all data is getting outdated.
Hmm.
Maybe as an author and writer, it's not good for me. Otherwise, you're going to tell me soon that all those numbers are a little old.
Yeah. Sir, in the interest of Viksit Bharat, what kind of reforms have we had, has this government done so far in the sector of education, and what more can we expect, and what more should be done according to you personally?
So, in education, the big step that was taken is the new education policy, NEP,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And along with that, there was built in the Indian knowledge system, IKS.
Hmm. Hmm.
Can say whatever they want to. I think it is a
Hmm.
huge step in the right direction, in
Hmm.
improving, how we structure education and in the country. So I think it's a
Hmm.
massive, big step. Along with that, again, there has been, just like I mentioned with healthcare, a lot of capacity building is being done also.
Hmm.
As earlier on, there used to be only so many top institutions across the country, like the IITs and IIMs. Now, there has been a dramatic increase. If you know the
Hmm.
amount of IITs, IIMs,
Hmm.
even AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Science, that have been added. So
Hmm.
government is also, again, private sector is doing a lot in the field of
Hmm.
education. But along with that, even government has been pushing very hard to increase the number of the top institutions, and also,
Hmm.
have them, if you see now, spread across the country, whether it's the
Hmm.
Northeast India, other smaller states, etc. So we are
Hmm.
trying to ensure that the institutes of excellence are all over the country and everybody
Hmm.
has access to this. Again,
Hmm.
just like healthcare, I'll mention, with our large population, everything has to be scaled up. There's no doubt in that. And I think all this work is happening.
Hmm.
So I'm
Okay.
quite happy, again, about all the steps being taken with respect to education.
Hmm.
Just one point I myself
Yeah.
want to make, Rajanji, that along with education, a critical thing is skilling. So,
Hmm.
again, a lot of work is being done with various government schemes, whether it's for internships, Skill India, etc. Government is seized of the matter, or seized of the issue that along with education, we have to impart, 21st century work skills to,
Hmm.
our young people, so that they can easily get absorbed in the workforce, contribute to the workforce, contribute to nation building, start businesses, become job creators other than just job seekers. So a lot of
Hmm.
work, luckily, is also happening in skilling. So it's not only
Hmm.
about education. I think along with education, there is a good, strong emphasis on skilling, which is also very critical.
Hmm. So, with the giant increase in numbers of the AIM, AIMs and IITs, IIMs, etc., are they all fully functional yet? And has their standards been maintained? Is it still as awesome as the IITs and IIMs of yesteryears? And especially with
I'm
humanities and wokeism being pushed in the IITs even. What about that?
So there are a couple of questions here. I'll respond.
Yeah.
I have just had the opportunity to visit one or two new IIT IIMs. I visited the
Hmm.
IIM, in fact, in Meghalaya. So whatever
Hmm.
I've seen is, world class and matches the best of the older IITs and IIMs.
Okay.
There is that. These are, so whatever I have seen, this is what I have observed and experienced.
Hmm.
To your point on humanities, etc., again, this is not something that I have much information or knowledge about. Difficult to comment. But I think overall, the quality of these institutes have been maintained. Specific
Okay.
courses and what's happening, unfortunately, I would not know much about.
So does India need a developed India? Does it need a lingua franca? And is it ever going to be possible in a country like India?
Uh, I think, I don't know why, for me personally, these language things are not an issue. We're a nice, diverse country. We should celebrate this diversity. All languages are very important with rich traditions, so much richness in languages. I personally, love going to different places, hearing the local language. I like to learn as much as I can. I feel things have, worked so well for so many years. I don't understand, these are little debates that are more political, really not something that I, give too much time or attention to. And I think a lot of these are also being tackled, if I'm not wrong, with the NEP as well, depending on
Okay.
what you have to teach as that second language, etc.
Right. Sir, do you think in a developed country, people or at least one gender should fear getting married and stuff? Should we have such a situation where such laws exist that men fear getting married?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Nirajanji. I didn't understand that question.
So since you were saying that your metrics for a developed country is much more broader than just GDP per capita numbers, therefore, in a Viksit Bharat in 2047, should men fear getting married? Is that a sign of a developed nation? As men pretty much fear these days already because of the insanity in pro women laws.
Is it somehow, I don't know. I mean, I'm unable to really comprehend this question because I haven't heard something like that of people getting scared
Aren't
to
you aware
get
that
married. Prob-
okay?
Sorry,
Aren't you aware that
maybe
the
I'm
laws
too.
are laws tilt or towards women significantly?
That kind of stuff. So, what I have been, again, my knowledge is extremely limited here. I think probably my age group, I am much too old beyond all this. But I mean, I was married more than 25 years ago. But I think what you're talking about, I understand. So there, whatever it is, my knowledge is very, minimal on this. But I have been reading that the courts, at least the higher courts, Supreme Court, etc., have been now, making strong remarks that a lot of these things should not be misused. So my knowledge is kind of restricted only to that much of what I have read recently with respect to judgments in on this subject.
Yeah. Well, just because the honorable courts say it should not be misused doesn't mean it will stop getting misused. But the laws are being made by politicians and leaders who want a Viksit Bharat, who want a developed country. At the same time, they are creating laws where half the population will fear getting married and forget TFR in 2047, by 2047. So why are both things existing parallelly? Why do they want a fearful population at the same time a developed country? How is that even possible?
Nirajanji, like I said, my kind of knowledge and understanding is
Yeah,
limited,
yeah, fair
but
enough.
these are somehow in our country now, these become very complex issues because we are such a diverse country. The issues in our cities and metros is very different from the smaller towns and villages. There is so
Yes.
much regional also disparities. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know much about this, but I would also imagine that finding like a one size fits all solution is also would be
Yeah.
a challenging and very complex issue.
Yeah. Sir, you have repeatedly harped upon social equity and harmony in society as a sign of this developed India. So, what is your definition of social harmony?
There's no real definition, Rajanji. The idea is just that one of the holistic vision is that, again, because we are such a disparate country with
Hmm.
so many religions, languages,
Yeah.
regions, etc., that one must, this is also one of the higher goals that one must try and promote, social equity and harmony along with kind of equitable development, one
Hmm.
that reaches everyone. So this is just one of the higher goals that one
Hmm.
should always be aware of.
Hmm. So, in a developed country, will we have things like reservations or even caste identifications from the perspective of the state, which keeps caste-based politics alive? Will we achieve social harmony if the government endorses caste-based politics?
Again, Nirajanji, this is a very complex issue because
Yeah.
lots of things are happening at a state level. You also said rightly, there's a lot of
Hmm.
politics in this.
Hmm.
So, what I have really not got into all this, nor, have too much knowledge about this.
Hmm.
You and I will be probably as much informed, similar about these kinds of things. But obviously, one would like to see less and less of all this.
Hmm.
As the country develops and development and benefits reach everyone, one would
Hmm.
like to see less of this
Hmm.
and more, things being equitable and harmonious.
Hmm. Okay, sir. We have a very interesting question from that same person who asked about of gauging Viksit Bharat. He's asking regarding data published by government on progress is made. Is it possible to get these data from a third party? Currently, when I point out data published by government, a lot of people are skeptical on the authenticity.
Uh, my personal belief to the person who's asked this question is that a lot of this data is actually very good. Even for the book, we had used a lot of the publicly available information. I had tried to triangulate it with a lot of other reports, etc. And the data is very good.
Hmm.
A person can always be skeptical. There is no end to that.
Hmm.
Who do you believe in? But I think today with a lot of the, AI tools available, we should, fact check a lot of these things. But my
Hmm.
own personal experience on what I have seen, cross checked, etc., this
Hmm.
is very good data.
Hmm. Sir, what do we mean by ecologically sustainable development? Because India is one country where I think everyone is very pro-environmentalist and very pro-environment, and in the ways of a leftist even. So pretty much everyone is a leftist in that matter in India. So how do we distinguish between the government of India looking to do sustainable development versus those people who block the progress of the Mumbai metro station? What's the difference between these two people? Who is seeking what kind of sustainability?
This is a interesting and loaded question, Nirajanji. So let me put it like this. First of all, I think being environmentally conscious,
Hmm.
sustainable recycling, especially when my friends from the Western countries tell me this, I actually am amused and laugh a little because I tell them for y'all these are all fancy words and initiative.
Hmm.
This is ingrained to us in our culture, right? This
Yeah.
is one of the great things of our culture. Things are never
Yeah.
wasted, thrown, everything is recycled. We did all this without the
Hmm.
fancy words like recycle and upcycle, correct? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
I think we are naturally, very conscious about these things.
Hmm.
Our sustainability levels are always high. Now, coming
Hmm.
to our development, we are a developing country going to become a developed country. We are on the
Hmm.
trajectory of high growth. Most
Hmm.
of the Western countries who are already developed did this without caring for the environment. After they
Yeah.
achieved a level, now to talk about from a high horse, as they say,
Yeah.
that we should be sustainable, etc., is very easy to
Hmm.
do. But
Yeah. Yeah.
they also did all their rapid industrialization without caring for the environment as though it didn't exist.
Hmm.
However, in India, I feel because again things are ingrained in us, and this was the model of the Honorable Prime Minister as well. From day one, a lot of this rapid development we've seen in the last 10, 11 years has been while keeping, environment and sustainability at the back of the mind. And in fact, very much not only at the back of the mind, very much part of the plans. I'll give a small data point here. Forget the developed countries. I'm saying the global average emission per person is something like 4.3 tons of CO2, carbon dioxide. In India, even today, the per capita emission is 1.9 metric tons of CO2. So even we are well below even a global average. Forget that of the developed countries and countries like China. So we are the only country that is major country that is meeting the Paris climate goals already. We had set a target. In fact, I love talking about this. To meet 50% of our energy needs in India to be renewable or green energy. This was the target. 50% should be produced from renewable energy by 2030. In fact, it's in my book as well.
Yeah.
You'll be proud to know, as well as surprised to know, that India met this target 5 years ahead of schedule just a couple of months ago. So about 2 months ago, we met this target 5 years ahead. And now 50% of energy production in India is from renewable means. And about 250 gigawatts of energy in India is being produced from renewable energy. And now the target has been increased to have this to, increase this to 500 gigawatts by 2030. So, we are the one of the countries that is doing, I think, already great work as far as climate, environment, and sustainability goes.
Sir, in specifically this avenue of environmental sustainability, what are the duties of the government and what are the duties of the private sector?
Government has its target set as far as environment, sustainability, etc. goes. Even private sector have, emission standards, etc. Polluting country, industries have to meet and be within some standards. So I think those are well set. I think even private sector is contributing well, towards these goals. And again, I'm repeating that overall as a country, we are doing a good job. Again, everything can be done better. But like I said, we are already meeting our targets and doing a good job. Obviously, the push is to do even better.
Sir, I'm wondering, even if we should even have that as a target, does China follow all these environmental norms, or is it just the developed countries and we are pretending that we are developed and therefore following those countries?
Not like that. Many countries like China just don't follow all of this. We can also do
Yeah.
it. Things, our development trajectory will increase faster, costs will go down in many things. But I think that what government is doing and what is the vision again of Honorable Prime Minister is very, very critical. You have to do these things in a sustainable manner. This is something I feel close to his heart. It's again, I'm saying, ingrained in our culture, to be good global citizens, to protect the environment. And again, I think our model of Viksit, this is integral, in fact, I would say, to our model of Viksit Bharat and becoming a developed country. So I don't think we are ever going to look at this model without this piece of the puzzle.
Sir, how much do you think we are meeting these environmental standards and norms right now? Because we are pretty much an underdeveloped country and not many people can afford equipments or cars that can do a lot of pollution, and we are not even that big on industry. Therefore, we are meeting those standards. And if we someday are developed and do end up doing that kind of industry and everyone is rich enough to buy cars, then we won't be meeting those standards, right?
No, 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 no. It's not like that at all, Nirajanji. In fact, I have a different
Okay.
perspective totally. First of all, we are a strong developing country. We are, after all, the fourth largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
We will become the third largest. The target was 2027, but I think this is now slated to become the third largest economy next year itself. So
Yeah.
we are doing
Yeah.
great. We have a lot of manufacturing, lot of technical prowess in-house in the country. And I don't think these two things are mutually exclusive. We can
Okay.
develop, we can become more prosperous while protecting the environment. We have the technology, we have the ways. You see how fast a lot
Okay.
of things are happening in India, whether it's EV adoption,
Hmm.
sustainable fuels, ethanol blending in the fuels. So many large things are happening, which is
Hmm.
not only, making us, more environmentally and sustainable,
Hmm.
while protecting the environment. I think these are also good business.
Hmm.
So a lot of these green technologies
Hmm.
and all of this is not
Hmm.
something that one just spends on and all that. These are
Hmm.
also great business sense. Like I run many businesses. In one of my
Hmm.
businesses, when we've put up a solar power plant for the factory,
Hmm.
this is great business sense.
Hmm.
Sustainability is in fact the I would say icing on the cake.
Okay.
The solar power plant has a payback within 2 to 3 years. So it shows
Hmm.
you that what kind of returns this is generating. So all
Hmm.
of these technologies are great business sense,
Hmm.
and will also help us meet all of our climate and environmental goals.
Hmm. Okay. So we had a follow-up question just exactly on this only, which you just touched upon. So could you give more examples on this? Rishabh is asking, is there any purely economic case that can be made for sustainability instead of the usual moral arguments?
No, this is what I'm trying to tell you, that all of
Yeah.
this is great business sense.
Hmm.
In solar now, recently, the government of India launched this Prime Minister Surya Ghar Yojana.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's called Surya Ghar Yojana. This is allowing, citizens to put up small solar power plants on their roofs. And if you see the kind of benefits that are coming from it, it's dramatic. So not
Hmm.
only will your electricity bills go to zero, you will actually become a power producer and earn money from it. So your
Hmm.
electricity bill becomes zero and you start earning. So this becomes an asset. I'm giving you my
Hmm.
own example of putting
Hmm.
up a solar power plant for one of my factories. Although I have a solar business myself, but
Hmm.
we put this plant up. It was a proper business case. It made
Hmm.
dramatic sense.
Hmm.
And I think the benefits accruing are really, really good. Like I said,
Hmm.
payback of 2 to 3 years is fantastic from a financial return point of view.
Hmm. Next, we have another interesting question. Water scarcity is the main issue for India. What are indications for Viksit Bharat regarding rivers and underground waters?
So I agree, this is a very, very important concern, not only for India, but for a lot of the fast developing countries. Clean water, all of
Hmm.
this, the water tables have been going down. But again,
Hmm.
luckily, a lot of work has been happening at a very large scale for river rejuvenation,
Hmm.
so I think good work is happening as far as all of this goes.
Hmm.
And this is a very, very important asset for us as we go forward. Clean water will become just as important as any other big asset like oil. But
Hmm.
I'm happy that again government is seized of this issue, and the work and the scale of the work that's happening in this is very hopeful that we will be able to conserve our drinking water as we go forward.
Hmm. We have another great question from Arnab Chakraborty. Will we have policy continuity under political pressure? We saw how BJP did U-turn on freebies. So will this government keep up with its goals of Viksit Bharat 2047 if it means doing things that will make them lose elections?
It's a very again interesting and kind of number of things interwoven here. So
Hmm.
first of all, I at least believe that hopefully the policy continuity will remain with the
Hmm.
leadership that we have. We are seeing the commitment to development that they have shown. This is the
Hmm.
third term that the government has been in power, which itself is
Hmm.
historic. The policy
Hmm.
continuity has been there. Different things are top of the agenda at different moments in time as the leadership thinks, what is most important to be done. But I think largely this leadership continuity and policy continuity will remain. In fact, I am hopeful that a lot of the reforms, etc., the pace will in fact accelerate.
Okay.
I am hopeful that, already the indications just in the last 1 year indicate to me, with things like GST 2.0, etc. I am of getting the feeling that reform pace will accelerate, and this will be very important for us to achieve our goals of Viksit Bharat.
Okay, sir, coming back to sustainability a little, it's not really exactly about sustainability, but it's about the environment. That you were saying that how we have always known about having some morals regarding nature and environment, and how we always did recycling, etc. Then why is our civic sense and littering sense in such shambles? Why don't our morals work when we litter our rivers and the streets? And what is the solution to that?
So, this is quite sad, Nirajan ji. In fact, if you're aware what you may have seen in the book, I have been continuously, raising one point that one of the goals of my writing this book is it to also be a call to action.
Right.
I firmly believe that active citizen participation is needed to get us to the goal of Viksit Bharat. You just cannot expect 10 or 100 people will, achieve this mission for us, and we will all get Viksit Bharat nicely packaged and handed it to us like a present, in our hands. There is a need for every citizen to come forward and do something in his own small or big way for nation building. This I firmly believe. And in fact, I believe that once this happens, we will accelerate our goals of Viksit Bharat and reach it faster. Now, I am not saying that people are expected to do big things. I say even that, say you follow traffic rules. Nobody needs to tell you that you don't have to jump a red light or you can't come from the wrong direction of the road. Imagine if we all start doing this. You can't keep blaming traffic police or corporation and all that. Whatever they need to do, they'll do. If they are falling behind, they need to improve themselves. But we as citizens know these basics. If we all followed, Nirajanji, you'll also realize that whichever city we live in will become a fantastic, lovely place to stay. And we are the same citizens who don't follow the rules here, do it perfectly when we travel to foreign countries. Similarly, with garbage throwing, etc. So much work, so much awareness has increased with Swachh Bharat. So I think this is sad, and it's very important that this civic responsibility and discipline increases, because these are all contributors to nation building and all your contribution to Viksit Bharat. So I'm really hopeful that we start being a little more conscious, and before throwing the garbage, if we don't throw and we think, "Arey, we did this for nation building or for our contribution to Viksit Bharat," that's even better. So we are
Sir,
doing that discipline with that in mind, that this is a
yeah.
contribution to Viksit Bharat.
Yes, sir. Sir, would you agree with me if I said that a person can do that, can think of his city or town that way and not litter just in the interest of nation building only when they are in some way made to feel the stakeholders of that place? Because, for example, the Goa event I was talking to you about, I recently went to Goa for that, and this is the first time in my entire life that I did not throw cigarette butts on the streets even a single time, because everything is so pristine already. It looks so sacred that I felt that, my God, am I going to destroy this piece of land with a cigarette butt? How ugly will that entire cigarette butt look in this otherwise beautiful street? So I had two things going on in my mind: that it was already pristine to begin with, and I heard after landing on Goa that Goa police is pretty strict about smoking in public places. So even though I was sneakily smoking a cigarette, I never threw it anywhere on the streets. I actually found out and waited for a dustbin to appear in front of me, and then I threw it there. So why am I being a bad citizen in Kolkata, then suddenly a good citizen in Goa?
No, I don't agree with you, Nirajanji. I think we are already participants in our city, right? We are stakeholders of our city. If your city looks, whichever is your home city looks unclean
Hmm.
and dirty, it affects us all.
Hmm.
So I think it's
Yes.
just important to be a good citizen, whether it's your home city or if you're traveling.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. I was recently in Japan. One of the most disciplined civic sense, population you can find anywhere in the world. In
Yeah.
fact, I would rank them
Yeah.
as number one probably. I travel
Yeah.
a lot. You should just see the discipline in everything, and this
Hmm.
dramatically increases the quality of life. Even
Yes.
me as a tourist, when I'm there, you're feeling so safe, so happy, so relaxed. It is because of this compounding effect, I think, of this
Yeah.
top discipline and civic sense of the citizens of Japan. And
Hmm.
this is all that we have to do, bring this same kind of focus and discipline here to our country.
Hmm.
On a light side note, I'll tell you, Nirajan ji, ki, please reduce
Hmm.
smoking, look after your health as well.
Yeah.
So that's,
Absolutely. Yes.
you didn't throw the butts,
Yeah.
it's good. But also,
Yeah.
please, be conscious of your health.
Yeah. Yes. So when I asked you about Israel's TFR, you said that rightly so that a small country's data cannot be extrapolated to India. So in that light, I don't think even Japan's data can be extrapolated to India, because I personally believe that Japan is disciplined that way and has such cleanliness and stuff ground up because of their cultural cohesion, homogeneity, language-wise, racially, in every way, which India does not have and India will never have. So when there is no cultural cohesion and homogeneity, people stop feeling like stakeholders. And I think Goa has a lot of cultural homogeneity, so we can't really hope for cultural homogeneity in India anytime soon. No matter what kind of a crazy right winger you are, we will never have that. Then what is the solution?
So again,
A high trust
I
society
have
is what
a
I'm talking about. Without a high trust society, people will never stop littering their streets.
So I have two takes on this, Nirajanji. I
Hmm.
get this all the time, even in my private corporate life or
Hmm.
businesses that I run. You have to do it first. You can't always say that if
Hmm.
somebody else does it, so then only I will do it.
Hmm.
Change starts with you. I am a firm
Hmm.
believer in that. So I think I would not
Hmm.
wait, and I advise everybody that please take the first step. These are all
Hmm.
good things. You're not doing anything bad, right?
Hmm.
By not
Yeah.
littering or following the traffic rules. Why are you saying
Yeah.
that no, everybody breaks it, so I'll also break it? My advice would
Yeah.
be start with a small change. Believe me, it will have a trickle effect. Like, you see, you drop a stone in a pond of water, you see how the ripples spread out.
Hmm.
I firmly believe that,
Hmm.
the good we do spreads, from
Hmm.
one person, it
Hmm.
will spread to three, then to, nine, etc. But definitely it will have an exponential effect that you
Hmm.
create.
Hmm.
There is no doubt in my mind. The one other thing I would say about this, your point of homogeneity,
Hmm.
I think that, in fact, I mentioned probably at the start of our talk, for me, one of the very compelling and attractive things about Viksit Bharat was I am viewing it as a vision and mission statement for the country. It is
Hmm.
beyond politics, it is beyond region, language, anything. This is
Hmm.
really, if the country becomes developed, we are all citizens of this country, we are all stakeholders of this country. All
Hmm.
of us will benefit, whether you're sitting in Kolkata or I'm sitting in Pune or somebody sitting somewhere else. So I say, why not? This is just, that we all coalesce around this vision. That how can it
Hmm.
not? You have a fantastic vision. It's a great word, Viksit Bharat. So why not have this as a kind of a unifying mission and a
Hmm.
common identity for all of us?
Hmm. Okay, sir. So we are past the 1 hour mark. Do we have some time for some audience questions?
Let's take one or two.
Okay, some great questions have come up. Okay. Our major electricity is from fossils. Even if we use EVs, we are increasing pollution by using more fossils unless we increase our nuclear energy capacity. Solars can't be sustainable if major population turn to EV. Do you agree with this view?
Yes and no. So
Okay.
again, like I mentioned, already we have hit about 50% of our energy production from renewables, which is a good thing. I agree that's not, they produce only when the sun is shining, etc. And the load has to be balanced over a 24-hour period.
Hmm.
EVs are, that is correct. that if you're charging your cars in the city, then there is not pollution there, but somewhere if it is coming from a non-renewable or a fossil fuel source, then there is pollution there. However, the use case, as they would say in a technical term for EVs, is to also reduce urban pollution,
Yeah.
etc. So that is important role that the EVs play as far as that goes. However, the government is looking at our full energy portfolio as a total and holistically. So as I had mentioned, it is trying to ensure that we have all diverse energy sources, renewables, fossil, nuclear, a lot of gas. As you know, we've had excellent gas discoveries
Yeah.
in our water bodies, both Bay
Hmm.
of Bengal, etc.,
Yeah.
and the Andaman Sea. So the
Yeah.
idea is to increase our portfolio moving towards energy self-sufficiency, because today largely most of the oil and energy for the country is being imported. As you know, a lot of the geopolitics today is around that, right? Where that oil is coming from, countries fighting for that, etc., and a lot of games being played around that. So the government is trying to ensure we soon move towards energy self-sufficiency. That's why we are doing a lot of ethanol blending as well. So these are all issues that are being looked at from a bigger perspective. And EVs are playing their own small role, like I mentioned, more to do with urban, pollution, etc. And ultimately, the EVs are getting charged from this very same basket of energy sources. So once that changes, today you can say that possibly some of that EV charging or 50% of that EV charging is from green sources.
Okay, sir. Two last small questions, if you can go through them quickly from the same person. A question on taxes. Considering that 90% of the country is now exempt from income tax, should we do away with it completely and divert that money to middle class consumption? And secondly, a great question on roads from the same person. Local governments across the board are failing us on road quality, which also creates pollution issues. Is there any roadmap to solve this in a Viksit Bharat?
So I'll take both the questions. As far as
Yeah.
income taxes go, we have rationalized it greatly. The last two budgets have reduced personal income tax to a great extent. So this is good, but I don't think, my own personal belief is that it should not be brought to zero. In fact, we should keep the rates amongst many of the developing and developed countries. Our income tax rates are quite low. So we've done a good job with that. My feeling is that now the income tax base has to be rationalized and expanded, not increase the rates. Rates are rational enough. The number of income tax payees has to be increased. This is happening. It's happening slowly, but it's happening. So that is my feeling as far as personal income tax goes. Along with that, I already mentioned we have had so much GST tax reduction. So already both these things are, increasing the disposable income in the hands of the tax-paying citizen and the average citizen of the country. So I think both effects
Yeah.
have been great, and this is a great job that's been done. Once we expand the personal income tax base, that will be even better. What was the
Yeah.
second question, Nirajanji? I
On
forgot.
roads, even though
Oh yeah,
the
roads.
bad roads are
So
blameable on
yes,
municipality.
there is a kind of a disparity here for sure. If you realize that a lot of the large highway schemes, which are central government of India schemes, are tremendous. We are seeing world-class
Right.
expressways, highways being built, which is
Yes.
superb. The scale,
Yes.
speed at which they are being built is superb. Coming to
Yes.
roads, etc., in our cities, that is a challenge. There is no doubt. Urban infrastructure is a huge challenge, but these challenges are also complex because, one must not forget the structure of government. You have government at a city level, which is usually a municipal corporation. Then you have a state government and then the central government. So a lot of these roads in the cities that we see problems with are related to corporation level things. And there
Yeah.
is no doubt that we need more accountability here. These etc. that we are seeing, our national projects being built. But these are certain challenges that exist just because of the structure. And I think all we can do as citizens is to be a little more, active, a little more vocal, because that is something that only a local
Yeah.
corporator we can hold accountable for. In fact, a lot of times I see, I'm active also on social media, especially on X, and you see people, tagging the central ministry for a pothole in their locality. While it's, great to be active citizens, I think it's also important to be aware of the structure and take this issue up with the person who's actually directly responsible. So, we must be aware, you must be aware, I think, as citizens, who your corporator is, who your MLA is, MP is. So then, also start, getting aware that who is responsible for what in your neighborhood, locality, or city. And one must target the right person for follow up and, chase the correct person who's responsible for this to get these things resolved.
Okay, sir. Thank you for coming to my podcast. Thank you so much for taking those questions.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar.
Hope to see you write another book pretty soon, and we'll discuss that on our podcast as well.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Good.
যদি সবাই ফিরে যায় ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা সবাই ফিরে যায় যদি গহন পথে যাওয়ার কালে কেউ ফিরে না যায় তবে পথের কাটা তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি আলো না ধরে ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা আলো না ধরে যদি ঝড় বাদলে আধার রাতে দুয়ার দেয় ঘরে তবে বজ্রানলে আপন বুকের পাঁজর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা জলরে আপন বুকের পাঁজর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা জলরে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলরে একলা চলো